Do I look presentable, as they say in the train? Fantastic.
Dan, welcome to our tranquil little garden here in Shanghai. You wouldn't have thought this is right next to the circuit,
no.
But here we are. Let's talk about where you are, motivations, feelings coming into this weekend, because of course we have to talk about that podium in Tokyo.
Yes.
Huge moment.
Massive,
for the team and for you. I remember the last time the team got a podium, it was back in Gen 1.
Yeah. God, yeah. I think they pulled up a graphic of how many hundreds of races, and it's like 2,600 days since the last podium or something. So yeah, that was a very special moment. I feel like the start of the season wasn't as positive as I thought it was going to be. I thought we were sort of going to, maybe I over-expected. I thought we were going to hit the ground running a bit better than we did. And it got to the point, Miami, we were already, like, pace was a lot stronger by that point. And Monaco, obviously we were very fast and sort of things didn't go quite my way. I made a couple of mistakes, like things in the race I could have done a bit better, so we didn't quite capitalise on the pace from that weekend, but then obviously in Tokyo we did. So I've sort of felt like we needed a breakthrough a weekend this season, and I think, to be honest, the last three, four rounds, like I say, from Miami onwards, we seem to be consistently fast in most conditions, which is good. So I think we're definitely getting there. I still think there's stuff we need to improve from a few areas. In terms of one lap pace, like, I feel very confident in the car now. I feel like most times I finish a session or a quali lap or quali session, I feel like I've pretty much got the most out of it, and I didn't feel that at the beginning of the year, so we're getting there.
So we'll delve more into this kind of team turn of form in a minute, but just to go back to that moment, because we know it was a big moment for the team, but also for you. I mean, you're 57 starts in Formula E, you had to wait for that moment, and we'd all seen the pace, we'd all seen the performance, but it just hadn't quite got there.
Yeah, I think it's funny looking at all the Instagram comments of people. I know you're not really supposed to do that as a driver, but I do, and most of the time I find it funny. It's like people have got like short-term memory issues. It's just like, oh, you know, Dan's rubbish. He's never done anything. I'm literally a double world champion in F3, like one race in F2. Like, they forget about all that. They just look at my, my Formula E career, which, on paper has been quite dire. But everybody knows that, I've been in the smallest team, haven't had an opportunity really to move due to my reputation.
Ticktum's in there again now. Yeah, you would never put him in front of a sponsor.
Now I'm in a place where I can prove what I can do, and everyone's laughing when I said on driver I think I'm one of the fastest drivers in the world. I've done things in my career that prove that, and hopefully I'll start to prove that here too. So yeah, it was a very miserable 3 years, I'm not going to lie. But I think the people here and the people that know, who see the sessions day in, day out, and can realise what car I'm in versus myself, and I often outperform the car. I think it's fair to say, like, I've been through a few drivers here. It's been a bit like a revolving door, and I've obviously stayed, and there's obviously a reason for that. So yeah, and like I say, now we're in a place where the car is getting there. I don't think it's as competitive, as the factory Porsche or the Nissan, and therefore the McLaren. I think the Nissan and the McLaren, are very fast. So are the main Porsche cars, but we're working quite closely with them, and we seem to be, as a unit, working pretty well. And I think we're definitely up there now with one of the fastest cars.
Before we look too far ahead to this weekend and beyond, just want to go back, because I think your career has been quite unique in the sense that, just purely by your age and the world existing with social media and stuff like that, so much of your career has been in the world of social media, whereas some of the veterans of the championship had a time where it wasn't really as prevalent. How difficult has it been navigating that, the comments?
I would say I just missed the F2 and F3 hype. Literally about probably 2 years after I left F2, all the guys in F2 have got 500,000 followers now. So because it was attached to F1, and all the F1 fan base was obviously watching F1, and F2 was just there. So they were just like, oh, well, we'll watch that as well. So I got the tail end of that. I probably got 20, 30,000 followers from the tail end of that. But now they've all got over 200, 300,000, some of them. So I think the social media aspect, I think it's been, obviously more prevalent in my career than it has, Jev or Buemi or, these guys, luckily for them. But I think the time where it affected me a little bit was, I don't want to talk about it too much, but like in 2018 when I was with Red Bull and, you know, I was in line to have a Toro Rosso seat, or whatever the team was called in 2019, and I didn't have enough super license points, and that was when, you know, I called out Schumacher and all these other things and got myself into a bit of trouble. At that time I wasn't really used to having to deal with, you know, some rather, you know, uneducated comments from people, and, you know, then it was tough to deal with because I had a lot of pressure from Red Bull. You know, my dad saying, look, if you lose Red Bull, you're not going to get sponsored by me because I've not got the money. So yeah, that was a tough time. But now, to be honest, like if I get any hate, I find it hilarious. Honestly, some of the comments that I see, these people are so ignorant and stupid. It just makes me laugh. So, you know, but there's also been a lot of support recently, which is very nice, and there's been a handful of people that have stuck by me all the way from back then, and, you know, they're still you know, fighting my corner, and it's very nice, and I appreciate it a lot. I appreciate all the people that do sort of see the real Dan, because a lot of people like to, you know, look at a clip and go, oh, he's got a terrible attitude and all that. And yes, maybe I don't word things as well as I should, but, you know, I wouldn't be employed in a professional environment for 4 years if I was terrible, you know, or had a really bad attitude. You know, loads of the other drivers swear on the radio and, you know, say very similar things to me, but, you know, they're not Dan Ticktum, so the mic isn't down their throat the whole time. So
the thing is, now you're silencing all those critics because you're backing it up, and I want to talk about one of the key attributes that's helping you back that up. Just this huge change in the team, massive investment, like, dare I even say it, like celebrity status being attached to it. You know, you've got Idris Elba as a key investor. You're basically best mates with Song from Fast and Furious now.
I know, that's been great. Yeah, it's been really cool. Like the whole environment, like I say, is great. Like, I mean, obviously you got to do your job and you got to be professional as a team, but, you know, why can't you have fun? You know, not everything's got to be so serious. You know, we're all only going to be here for, you know, 20, 30 years tops in this sport, drivers even less. So, you know, I think as long as you're doing the job and you're getting done what needs to get done, like, you know, why can't you sort of have a bit of fun? And, you know, but the thing is with Kiro that I've really enjoyed is, like I say, they've been very supportive of me as a character, and there's also some other interesting things outside of racing that, you know, we're working on, and, you know, they might help me with, and the whole thing, it's just going to be quite a good collaborative thing. So yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm really enjoying being here, and yeah, it's good.
It's a wicked story because, like, maybe people watching don't necessarily know the real resource gap that there was previously between your team and some of the big manufacturers.
Yeah, I mean, we can talk numbers or we can't. It's up to you guys if it's a bit vulgar, but, you know, there's, you know, well over 10 million to run a team properly. And, you know, before we were on a lot less than that, you know, so we were really, as who said we were running it on a shoestring budget in driver? That's correct.
Right.
Nikki Shield said that, and that was the case. Yeah. So, you know, now we've got the right resource. The team hasn't expanded so much in terms of personnel yet. I think that's going to come. You know, I'm trying to help the guys at Kiro and Forest Road, you know, because they've never invested in a race team before. So, you know, me, Russell are trying to sort of help, you know, how to expand the team better and put resource in the right places. So I think we're only going to go forward, and I'm honestly very looking forward to Gen 4. So, you know, hopefully I'll be here. That's obviously not decided yet, but I think I'm in a pretty good place, and yeah.
Well, we're all here for it. We're enjoying the journey. And just quickly, are we going to get a Dan Ticktum win by the end of the season? You guys say yes or no?
There's
only one answer, surely.
I think it's possible.
Just say
Sorry.
yes, Dan.
Okay, yes. I think if we get things right and I perform well, I think it's possible we can win. Yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
Cheers, Dan.
Cheers, mate. Cool.